Alright guys, how you doing? And welcome back to another video, very special video on the FPL Updates channel in which we're doing a Q&A just to get sort of your fantasy opinions and questions answered while we're having this sort of mini FA Cup break. It feels like an international break really. It's been a while, but yeah, let's get these questions answered and hopefully I will solve your FPL queries. First question comes in from Viggy_Capiti. I'm really sorry if I've said that wrong. Which Liverpool players are worth buying? There's one Liverpool player definitely worth buying, and that man is Bobby Firmino. Slow start under Brendan Rodgers, a big price tag to live up to, but Klopp knows him from his time in the Bundesliga, and he'll be looking to make the most of him. You know, he's been a bit inconsistent. He's not an out-and-out striker, but he can score goals. He can make goals. So Roberto Firmino, for me, is a guy you should definitely consider having in your team, mate. With 6 goals and 6 assists, Roberto Firmino is a key man under Jurgen Klopp, as we've mentioned. His stats do indeed speak for himself. I'm afraid I wouldn't consider any other Liverpool players. You know, Mignolet, question marks on him. The centre-halves, they can't defend set pieces. Firmino, of course, is a midfielder on the game, which makes it even better. And up top, Benteke, inconsistent as well, really struggling, always offside, and Sturridge still coming back from injury. Right, next question comes in from Bola, Itu, and you, Doobie-Doo. Do the FPL players in the UK, I'm assuming that means British players, have advantages over the FPL players from not Britain? Like more updates, player, psych. Interesting question. I've never really thought about that. Of course, the game, the Premier League has developed from being completely English into this sort of mishmash of foreigners, and it's been good for us. We get to see more quality players. I think the real issue is, you know, when the players come in from abroad, they have to adapt quite quickly. You know, someone like a Turbe at Bournemouth, it's taken him a little while. Of course, players like Negredo didn't quite happen for him at Man City. Same with Roberto Soldado as well at Tottenham. Didn't happen for him, you know, in Spain he'll score goals. It's just about adapting really. Once you get used to the physical game, I think there's no difference between where you're from. It's just about how good a footballer you really are. Right, next question comes in from LFC Alum. And he says, what team to support? Laugh out loud. And that team is West Ham United. Yuval Serai would like to know, do you believe that Alexis Sanchez will get back to scoring ways? Now, good question. A lot of people have been talking about Alexis Sanchez. What I would say is, first of all, he's not a striker. He's not playing up front, okay? So he's not expected to score goals. He's a good footballer, which is why we expect him to score lots of goals. He certainly makes goals too. He had the injury, didn't he, when he suffered from exhaustion. And since then he struggled a bit when he's come back. He scored 9 goals this season. He scored 3 goals in the Champions League. He's a good footballer. He used to play for Barcelona. He will get back to scoring ways, but do not expect him to be a 20-goal a season player. He will be back in the goals as Arsenal look to press for the title. He's going to be probably their best player involved. So don't worry, Sanchez will come back to form. It's just a matter of when. Aaron Regarvan, thank you for your question. Clearly a Chelsea fan. Not going too well for you this season. Who do you think will be the best captain choice this game week? Vardy, Mahrez, Kane or Valencia? First of all, I will say if you want to know in greater detail who to go for, be sure to check out the game week preview later in the week. Second of all, as I said to West Ham fan, Eder Valencia is likely not to start. He has picked up a knock and he's been in poor form recently. I can see why I've gone for maybe a Leicester or a Spurs player as they are the top two. I'd go Riyad Mahrez. Purely because his performances this season, particularly at home at the King Power, very, very good. Against Norwich at home, very good indeed. As for Vardy, MNEK is who I would go for. I see why I've gone for Valencia. MNEK is going to be fantastic at home to Sunderland, I think. Mahrez, if you want to go safe. MNEK if you want to take a punt. JNO United. Would you like to know, do you think Rooney being out will benefit the point scoring potential of Martial? Well, when Martial was signed, he was seen as the long-term replacement for Rooney. Of course, Manchester United's problems mean Martial was actually good enough to get in the first team. He can't play up front because Rooney plays there, so Van Gaal plays him out wide. Eventually Rooney will go and Martial will play up front. That's why they spent so much money on him. I think you're right, JNO, purely because Rooney being out for a couple of months means Martial will go from the wing to playing up front. And Martial is joint top scorer at Man United with Rooney, despite playing on the wing for the majority of the season. So Martial up front is going to be really good. Remember his first goal for the club at home to Liverpool. Brendan Rodgers was in charge. He was fantastic. Up front through the middle, quick feet, definitely more points, particularly from scoring goals. Let's hope so. Kurt Yo, who's not very good at Football Manager, would like to know who has been the best surprise package this season. Now, you're going to want me, he wants me to say Mahrez. He does. I'm not going to say Mahrez purely because, in my opinion, it's not a surprise. Purely because I think the teams who you expect to do really well aren't doing really well. And that's why people like Hazard aren't performing, and maybe Sanchez we mentioned earlier. The best surprise for me has been Ighalo, purely because no one really gave Watford a chance, and even when they did, they said Troy Deeney, the captain, was going to be the key man. Ighalo's just blown us all away with his pace, with his goals. Been a really, really good striker to have in the league. Probably going to move on to bigger and better things very soon. Watford will be doing very well to keep him, perhaps why they brought in Amrabat for a future replacement. So Ighalo for me has been fantastic. And Ojo Tweets would like to know, all chips remaining. Whoa, I'm surprised, to be honest. How has anyone got the patience to have all 3 chips remaining? My hat is off to you, mate. Remaining, and the World Cup with a lot of ground to make up. Any advice? Now, we have not had a double game week yet, and several are going to come up with the League Cup final and the FA Cup fixtures in the quarterfinals. I'd say use your triple captain and a double game week, and use it very, very wisely, and then use your other chips, maybe like a bench boost in a double game week, and use your wild card when it's going to be the international break, so you can see which players are coming back from injury, from their long trips, and who's likely to start and not start, because international breaks usually are the make or break for us, as we saw in November and December. Right, guys, thanks for watching this Q&A. Something a little bit different during the break because of the cup fixtures. We'll probably do another one soon. If you've enjoyed this one, drop a like, and then we know if you want to see more Q&As, because the more likes you drop, the more videos will get out to you. Be sure to check out Premier Pod to make some money off of all our advice, and check out the website if you haven't already. We'll see you next time for another video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.